Hey coin collectors, and welcome to the DC Coin World International coin channel. And today we have the cautionary tale of what rarity does to coins prices, both in driving them up and in driving them down when people find that there are more of them. So in 1984, they made coins at the San Francisco Mint, which is this S coin here. They made coins at the Denver Mint, which is the D, and they made coins at the Philadelphia Mint. The ones made at the San Francisco Mint, as you can see, are proof coins. Let's tip this one back and forth and just look at it. Just a sweet, sweet coin. We see there's a little bit of stuff on Jefferson here, probably stuff from the plastic it was kept in. So this is not going to be a proof 70. But in 2007, a graded proof 70 Jefferson nickel from 1984, so it would have an S on it because it's a proof, sold for $3,738. That nickel today is worth about $200. How could it go from being worth $3,738 to being worth $200? Well, let's talk about it. First off, let's look at this nickel. In God We Trust, it says Jefferson facing to the left, Liberty behind him, a just beautiful star here. Look at the definition on that star. 1984 here, the S there, and there's nothing special about that S. It's a little bit filled in, but no problems. And then an FS down here for Felix Schlag. This is just a great looking coin. And when it comes off the coin like this, we call it a deep cameo or a cameo. And so this is a deep cameo. And look at Monticello come off the back of this coin. This is a deep, deep, deep cameo. It says E pluribus unum at the top. Monticello here, Thomas Jefferson's home. 5 cents here. United States of America here. And look way, way down in here, we have full steps or pretty darn close to it. It is really, really hard to get a full steps version of any Jefferson nickel. Unfortunately for us, in 1984, they did a superlative job making these San Francisco Mint nickels. And there are probably 413 full steps proof 70 out there. Probably more than that. PCGS has graded 413. So what happened was in 1984 they came out. In 2007 they found a proof 70. And then when people saw that it was worth $3,700, they all looked for it and they found a bunch of them. So what's going on? Well, it turns out that in 1984, the quality of the nickels produced at the San Francisco Mint were better than they ever have been before or since, or probably ever will be. PCGS estimates that of the 3 million San Francisco Mint nickels made in 1984, 2.5 million are proof 65 or above. How could that even be? So this coin here is probably a proof 65 or above. It's not really worth anything. It may be worth $1 or less because it has that little stuff on the front. So when we start looking at these, we need to know that just because it's a really, really good quality coin does not mean that it's an expensive coin, because if there's a bunch of them out there and PCGS says there's at least 413 proof 70s, the price is going to go way down. So you can probably get a proof 69 for $10 or less sometimes, certainly for under $15 for a 1984 nickel. Well, what about the Denver and the Philly Mint? Well, let's look. The Philadelphia Mint. And so you see this one, and it's quite a different shine and finish to it, right? Because this is just a regular finish. And of course, in 1984, they didn't have that satin finish. This is an uncirculated mint set coin, and you can see it's not in great shape. These are really, really hard to get in great shape outside of the San Franciscos. This is a Philadelphia Mint. They made 747 million, but they only made about 10 that are MS67 full steps. Only about 10, so those are worth $2,500 if you can find one of these in an MS67 full steps. And this is not it, but it does have some steps. What about at the Denver Mint? Well, at the Denver Mint in 1984, they produced 518 million of them. And of those 518 million, only about 6 are MS67 full steps. And those are worth about $4,500. So if you got any 1984s and they're in really good shape, send them in and get them graded. It's worth the $18 to $20. It's not for one like these that we see here. So let's look at just a circulating one that we found in our change, and let's look at some of the differences that we can see on these. All right, so on this one, of course, this Philadelphia one, we see that it kind of touches the rim here, so it's not in great shape, but and this is, even though this is an uncirculated mint set coin, sometimes they come out of the mint that way. It touches up there too. On this one, we actually have more space on the circulating one, but there's no rim at all on that side. And then when we look over on the back, that's where we can really see the difference. Some of these Monticellos, you actually couldn't tell how many steps there were. Or in some cases, you can't even tell that there were steps because the steps just get kind of so worn down on the used ones because it sticks up just a little bit there. I don't know if you can see that, but this is maybe the high point on the coin, and it hits through right in there just the way it's used, especially if it's used in machines or counted with machines. It just wears those steps right out. So that's why we want the full steps version, because number one, we can tell that it hasn't been used, and number two, we can tell that they did a really good job when they minted it by pressing those steps in. But if you do find one, send it in because it may be worth money. And if you do find a beautiful 1984 San Francisco Mint Deep Cameo like this one, just know that's not going to be worth a whole lot of money. This one's probably worth $1 or less, and that's only because it has an S on it. All right, that's all we have today from DC Coin World International Coin Channel.